We've been doing these recordings now for over 10 months, and I think this is the very first time that we've actually tried doing one in my office here at the church. So some of you watching this have been in this room before. Maybe some of you have never been in here. Looking around, don't think the camera's picking it up. Maybe the camera is picking it up. We've got hundreds of books, clutter everywhere. Actually, someone once said that you can look at the books in a minister's study to find out when he stopped reading. And to my shame, I have to admit that many of these books were written in the last century. Anyway, let's get on with tonight's recording. The talk we're going to do is entitled One Way to End 12 Years of Misery. And it fits in for people from Meredith Road with the message on Zoom, which will be taking place in 2 days from this recording. This message has been recorded on Friday the 5th of February, and so if you're able to watch this before Sunday, the other message will follow on Sunday the 7th. So it's called One Way to End 12 Years of Misery, and I'm going to read a few verses from Matthew chapter 9, starting at verse 18. A synagogue leader came and knelt before Jesus, and he said, "My daughter has just died, but come and put your hand on her, and she will live." So we read that Jesus got up and went with him, and so did his disciples. Actually, what I'm more interested in is what happened next, because we read that just then a woman who'd been subject to bleeding for 12 years came up behind him and touched the edge of his cloak. She said to herself, "If only I touch his cloak, I will be healed." Well, Jesus turned and saw her, and this is what he said, verse 22, "Take heart, daughter, your faith has healed you." And the woman was healed at that moment. So our theme this weekend, and the title of the talk on Sunday, is what would Jesus do if he encountered people in pain? So we're going to look at that theme in a couple of days. This is now just relating to one particular incident, an unusual incident, this woman creeping up when Jesus was busy doing other things. This particular woman, we read, had been in pain, in physical pain, for 12 years, but she had never apparently lost hope of recovery. So I want to make 2 points arising from this story. First of all, that this woman took the initiative. She took the initiative. Lots of people, when Jesus was ministering, came up to him in order to get help from him. Inspiration, teaching, sometimes they were looking for a miracle. This woman went further. She took the initiative because she had a plan and she carried out that plan. And it seems to me, when we read the Gospels, we discover how much, at times, Jesus loves his people to take initiative. Can you think of any examples from the Gospels off the top of your head? Well, I was thinking about this, and the one that comes to my mind would be that night when there was a storm on the Lake of Galilee. And what was Jesus doing? He was actually walking on the water. And in that incident, we read that it was Peter, so often Peter, who took the initiative because he said, "Why can't I walk on the water?" And for a few seconds at least, he was able to do that. I think Jesus loves people to take the initiative. Maybe not all the time, but that's a principle, certainly that was followed by this woman in this incident. So she took the initiative, and of course, what we're told is that her plan was, if only I can touch his cloak, I will be healed. And so that's what she planned to do, and that's what she was able to do. So the woman took the initiative, and Jesus, I think, approved of that. The second point is that if we look at this story, we see that faith made all the difference. Faith made the difference. Now, we have to be careful here. We have to be careful because I've heard people say that if you want Jesus to do anything for you, you need faith, particularly in the area of healing. And it's true that many of the healings in the New Testament, Jesus commends people for their faith, and faith seems to be an important ingredient leading to them being healed. But there were times when faith wasn't the key issue in people being helped, people being healed. And we need to just acknowledge that for the moment. Sometimes damage has been done. Maybe someone's needed help, they've been desperate, and then insult's been added to injury because not only have they not been healed, but they've been accused of lacking faith. I think we need to be careful on that one. But certainly here, it does seem to be a decisive factor because this woman shows faith, does she not? Not only does she take the initiative, but in so doing, she shows her faith, believing that something could happen if only she could touch the cloak that Jesus was wearing. So she showed faith, and faith made such a difference. And of course, at the moment when preachers like me bring messages, so often we refer to the coronavirus. It's a natural thing for us to do. And certainly over these last 10 months, it's been a struggle for so many people, not just in the city of Coventry, in which I live and minister, but throughout the UK and indeed throughout the world. It's been a hard time. I've actually heard believers in Jesus saying this: I'm close to losing my faith. That's very concerning, isn't it? When people become that unhappy, that desperate, start to lose hope, and indeed start to lose their faith in God. So my question for you, as I draw to a close on this little talk, is about your faith. Your faith. I'm assuming as you watch tonight, I'm assuming that you have faith of your own. It's probable that you are a follower of Jesus. I want to ask you the question: how is your faith holding up at this time? How are you doing? Are you still trusting in God to bring you through this until we can get out of this very long, dark tunnel? So, this incident here in Matthew chapter 9, we have a woman who had been in pain, in misery for 12 years. And she was able to end that misery because she shows initiative and because she had complete faith that Jesus would heal her. So there's a challenge here for all of us. There's a challenge for us. Maybe you feel fragile at this time. The challenge is for us to hold on to our faith. How do we do that? One way we do it is by holding on to Jesus. Would you do that? Thank you so much for listening. God bless you.